Hello, Professor in class. This is Giovanni. For my presentation today, I will provide a brief analysis of domestic violence related calls for assistance in Los Angeles County. In 2024, law enforcement agencies in Los Angeles County responded to 36,720 domestic violence related calls for assistance. Of those calls, 22,858 involved a reported weapon, including 611 incidents involving a firearm, 1,030 involving a knife or other cutting instrument, 3,613 involving another dangerous weapon, and 17,604 involving personal weapons, defined as hands or feet. Additionally, 3,128 incidents involve strangulation or suffocation. Now, during the same year, the city of Los Angeles reported 9,723 domestic violence related calls for services. However, these figures are preliminary and subject to revision. The data used in this analysis comes from the California Department of Justice Open Justice Database, which publishes domestic violence related calls, and the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health Domestic Violence Data Sources and Estimates 2025 update. Now, there are a few laws designed to address these issues, such as Penal Code 273.5, which addresses corporal injury to a spouse or partner. This law covers willfully inflicting corporal injury resulting in traumatic condition on a spouse or former spouse, cohabitant or former cohabitant, dating partner, or parent of the offender's child. Penalties include 4 years in state prison, mandatory protective orders, and a mandatory 52-week batterers intervention program. Another law is Penal Code 243, which covers domestic battery when no visible injury is present. Penalties include up to 1 year in county jail, fines, and mandatory domestic violence counseling. There's also Penal Code 13730, the domestic violence incident reporting, which governs how domestic violence calls are reported and tracked. There is also a law governing civil protection for victims. However, it imposes no criminal penalties. This is California Family Code 6200-6409, which authorizes domestic violence restraining orders, emergency protection orders, stay away and no contact provisions, and firearm relinquishment requirements. Lastly, there are mandatory arrest and protective order policies. Arrests are mandatory if there is a probable cause in a domestic violence incident, and protective orders are issued at arraignment. Also, firearms are to be surrendered upon the issuance of domestic violence restraining orders. This concludes my presentation. Thank you all for your time.